New year, new you. No, there's no new you, there's only you. I love that. And yesterday we had a class which was all about Ardhanarishvara. And Ardhanarishvara is the synthesis of the male and female energies and the union of energy and consciousness, and the reality that there is nothing other than that. In other words, it's not like consciousness is one thing and creation is another. It's like they're actually totally intertwined and one and the same, just the same as water is ice, or as we say, you know, energy is just consciousness frozen in form. And so we practiced a meditation for that, we did some mudras for that, and we did some breathing for that. And the breathing that we did was an alternate nostril breath where we breathed in with the mantra Shakti to the left and out with the mantra Shiva to the right, and then breathing in Shiva to the right and out through the left. So we're not actually going to do that today because obviously the class is going to be in the library, and if you want to do that class you can check it out. But I wanted to work still with this mantra Shiva and Shakti combined with the Ujjayi breath and bringing that into the asana practice. And so just having in mind this image of how Shiva is upward moving energy and Shakti is downward moving energy. And I think I talked about yesterday, and I might have been in the afternoon class there, we had 2 sessions, is that the heart chakra, or the space of the heart, when we look at the yantra for the heart, it's at two intersecting triangles, with one triangle pointing up, which represents Shiva, and one triangle pointing down, which represents Shakti. So that's why I have this image that when I breathe in, I feel energy moving up the back of my body, which is Shiva, and then as I breathe out, energy moving down the body is Shakti. So Shakti is grounding the energy, and Shiva is expanding the energy. And just bearing in mind that there's no expansion, there's no ascending, there's no descending. It's all just happening in the presence of consciousness, which is yourself. So these are just images that we can use to focus the mind and anchor the mind. And this is really the aspect of yoga, which is Tantra and Laya Yoga, the yoga of absorption. So when we absorb our mind into the breath and we work with this imagery and we work with these mantras, it's like we can just let go. And that's actually, you know, when you finish a class and you feel that sense of expansion, it's actually, you're being with yourself, and so there's nothing, holding you back or tying you down. And how we enable that is through concentration, through concentrating, through dharana, focusing the mind. So we're going to start just with Nujay Breath, so sitting comfortably, sitting cross-legged, remembering you can sit up on something if you need to. And we're just going to start with the Ujjayi Breath, so just closing the eyes. And just starting with a natural belly breath, feeling the breath in your belly. I'm just noticing what your breath is doing right now, if it's stuck in any way. And then just gently start to engage your Ujjayi breath. And as you engage your Ujjayi breath, just visualize that the breath on the inhalation moves up the back of the spine, and on the exhalation it moves down the front of the body. So inhaling, using the Ujjayi, just slightly constricting the throat and feeling the breath at the back of the throat as you inhale, making that slight whispering sound. And then as you exhale, you can visualize that breath flowing down the front of the body, feeling the breath, still making that slight whispering sound and feeling it touching the roof of your mouth. See if you can go right to the end of the exhalation before you commence the inhalation. And just do this a few times, breathing in. Breathing out. Remembering that this breath is a 3-directional chest breath. So you want to feel the chest expanding forwards, out to the side, and out to the back of the body as you inhale. And then feel the chest, everything releasing on the exhale. Now, if you want to have that breath even, you can. You can also not really, you don't have to worry about it. So if you want to make it an even feeling for the inhalation, an even count, and then an even count for the exhalation, you can do that as well. Now just to complete this, we're going to breathe in, intoning the mantra Shiva on the way up. And then internally chanting Shakti on the way down. Inhaling Shiva. Exhaling Shakti. And just continue for a few rounds on your own. And then just releasing that breath, coming back to your belly breath. Just noticing any change in energy and focus. You want to keep the mind occupied. Give it something to do so you're free to be with yourself. Alright, and then just gently opening your eyes. And we will come into the practice. So we're going to start on our hands and knees. Having your hands underneath your shoulders and your knees underneath your hips. And we're going to keep going with that image. So every inhalation, if it feels right for you, you don't have to do this. Every inhalation is that energy of Shiva. So we're breathing in with the Ujjayi, Shiva. And then as we exhale and send the seat back to the heels, Shakti. So it might be that you sing it inside, Shiva. And then as you exhale, you sing it inside, Shakti. Shiva. Inhaling. Exhaling, Shakti. Using the Ujjayi back onto the hands and knees. Inhaling, Shiva. Exhaling, Shakti. And just do a few rounds on your own. Taking it nice and slow today. Rounding through that lower spine, sending the seat back to the heels. And just enjoying this really gentle movement of the spine and keeping the mind focused, ekagrata, on the mantra. One more, inhale. Exhale. Alright, and then just curl through the spine again, feeling that Shiva as you come up. And then sliding the hands down the thighs, coming back into the child pose, Shakti. And then inhale, coming onto the hands, Shiva. And then as you exhale, lifting the sitting bones high, coming into down dog, softening the knees if that's comfortable, coming into that Shakti. Inhale back onto the knees, Shiva. Exhale, child's pose, Shakti. Inhale, curling through the spine, Shiva. Exhale, sliding forward, Shakti. Inhale, onto the hands and knees, Shiva. Exhale, lifting the sitting bones high, Shakti. Inhale, back onto the hands and knees, Shiva. Exhale, Shakti. This is our last round. Inhale, curling through the spine, Shiva. Exhale, flowing forward, Shakti. Inhale, onto the hands and knees, Shiva. Exhale, lifting the sitting bones high, Shakti. Alright, so let's stay in down dog. And as you inhale, drawing that breath in, just letting go of the mantra for a moment and just focusing a little bit more on alignment here. So pressurizing thumb and index finger, drawing the inner thighs towards each other, softening the knees if there's tension in your hamstrings, really feeling that stretch through the armpits and the chest, drawing the abdomen back to the spine, spreading the fingers. If you straighten the legs, you can work the heels towards the floor, lift the front of the thigh muscles. One more breath, and then back onto the hands and knees, and sending the seat all the way back to the heels. And let's bring one fist on top of the other. And we'll just stop here for a moment. And we'll just go back to that internal mantra. Inhale, Shiva. And exhale, Shakti. You can use the Ujjayi breath, or you can let go of Ujjayi and just do regular breath, whatever feels right. It's nice to incorporate the Ujjayi here. Alright, reaching the arms out in front, coming back onto the hands and knees. We're going to extend the right leg back and the left leg back. Come into plank position for a moment. And then walk the toes to touch. And we're going to do a little exercise here which works on increasing abdominal strength. So just roll to the outside of your right foot and let your hip drop a little bit. And then come back to center and roll to the outside of your left foot and let your hip drop a little bit. And then roll back and let your hip drop a little bit and come back And let your hip drop a little bit. So if it's uncomfortable to roll like this, you can come onto the tops of your feet and roll on the tops of your feet. And we're just going to roll a few times like this. You'll feel it getting right into those obliques. And then press back into down dog. And it's actually a really nice release to come back into down dog. And then drop onto the hands and knees and send the seat back to the heels. And this time let's separate the knees out a little bit. And just lengthen the arms forward. Turn the head to the side or rest the chin on the floor. And come back to that internal mantra. Shiva. As you exhale, Shakti. As you inhale, Shiva, Shakti. All right, and then slowly coming up, we're going to step the right foot in between the hands and just have the fingertips beside the feet. Make sure the knee and the heel are in line, just lengthening the spine, feeling a little bit of a stretch through the front of your left groin. Just take a breath here. Just keeping it really gentle. Then tuck the toe under and lift the knee up off the floor, coming into the lunge. And then just scoot that back foot a little bit in so you can get your balance here. Bring your hands to your hips and come upright. Keep that back knee bent. And then we're just going to raise the arms, chanting inwardly Shiva. And lowering the arms using the Ujjayi Shakti. Inhale, raising the arms, Shiva. Exhale, lowering the arms, Shakti. And one more. Inhale, raising the arms. Inner thighs draw towards each other. Toes are spread. Weight is balanced between front and back foot. Exhale, bring the hands to the floor. Step back into down dog, come on to the hands and knees, and then step the left foot forward, just fingertips beside the foot, drop a little bit into the groin so you can just deepen here, open the chest, breathe, and then tuck the toe under, lift the knee. Just stay here for a moment, getting a stretch through the front of the thigh. And then bring that back foot in a little closer. Bend the back knee, get your balance, bring yourself upright. So we've got a nice short stance here, just so that we're balanced. And we just want to make sure that, one knee isn't floating in, and that we're feeling the shoulders in line with the hips. And then inhale, Shiva. Exhale, Shakti. Inhale, Shiva. Exhale, Shakti. Inhale, Shiva. Exhale, Shakti. Let's bring the back foot forward to meet the front foot. Separate the feet out a little bit. Soften your knees. Let your head hang. Let everything hang. Let's take some breaths here. Shift the weight forward over the center of your feet. Spread your toes. And just be aware of the weight in your feet. So are you collapsing on your instep? Can you bring more weight to the outer edge of your foot? Can you also engage your inner thighs a little bit, even with the knees bent? And then feel the contact of your belly onto your thighs, letting your head release. One more breath. All right, and then lengthen through the spine, raise the arms all the way up. And exhale, let your arms lower. Okay, and just stand with the toes together, heels a little bit apart. And we're just going to raise the arms, inhaling, feeling that upward moving energy through the whole back of the body. Shiva. And then exhale, folding forward, softening through the knees, letting the head release, Shakti. And then again, we're going to reach the arms out to the side, come all the way up, Shiva. And exhale, soften the knees, diving forwards, Shakti. And last one, inhale, Shiva. And exhale, diving forward, Shakti. And then step yourself back into plank position. Breathing in here, and then drop the knees, bend the elbows, and lower yourself all the way to the floor in one piece. So you can keep going with that internal mantra. You can move the hands back slightly, come into baby cobra, Shiva. And then rolling over the knees, tucking the toes under, coming into that down dog position, Shakti. And just breathing here. And then look to the hands, just walk yourself forwards, soften through your knees, let your head release. And then on your next inhalation, Shiva. And lowering the arms, Shakti. And just take a moment in Tadasana, just resting there. And just notice how you feel in your body right now. Notice if there are any areas of tension, or maybe you notice a difference in the left and right sides in this Tadasana position. Okay, so we're going to do a couple more dynamic sun salutations now, just to get some energy flowing as we move through a series of standing postures. So toes together, heels slightly apart. Inhale, raise the arms up, big breath. You can keep going with that internal mantra, or you can let it go. Exhale, soften and fold forward. Inhale, rising halfway. Exhale, step or jump back, plank position. And then you can lower into chaturanga or drop onto your knees. You can come down to the floor, move the hands back and lift into up dog. Roll over the toes, coming into down dog. Take a breath in down dog, making those adjustments of bending the knees. If that's more comfortable, there's no tension in your lower back, there's not too much weight in your hands. You can keep the legs straight as long as you can maintain length in your spine and you don't feel too much pressure in your wrists. And then look to your hands, soften your knees, step or jump your feet forward. Lengthen the front of your spine. Nice long spine here. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, raise the arms, eyes, fingertips up. And exhale, bring your hands to the center of your heart. And again, arms down, around and up, palms to touch. Exhale, diving forwards. Inhale, rise halfway. Exhale, you can step or jump back to plank. You can even jump straight back into chaturanga or just lower to the floor. Move the hands back, come into baby cobra or come into up dog, and roll over the toes into down dog. Raise your right leg into the air, step your right foot in between your hands. Inhale your arms up, come into that high lunge position. Lower the arms, interlace the fingers, open the chest and fold your torso over your front thigh. Take a breath here, inhale, Shiva. Exhale, move your hands forward, lift the back leg, Shakti. Inhale, lower that back leg, lining up the left heel with the right heel, making sure it's a nice leg length distance apart. And on your next inhalation, Shiva, coming into Virabhadrasana 2, rolling that front thigh in, rolling that back hip, rolling the front thigh out, rolling the back hip in, raising the arms, looking over the middle finger. Take a breath here. Shiva, and then hands to the floor, Shakti, and then step back into down dog. And then from here, left foot comes forward. Inhale, raise the arms up. Exhale, lower the arms. Inhale, open the chest. Exhale, fold forward over the front leg. Inhale, bring the hands to the floor. shoot the weight forward, coming into Virabhadrasana 3, and then lower that back heel down, lining up the front heel with the back heel. And on your next inhalation, Shiva, rolling that front thigh out, rolling that back hip in, coming into our Virabhadrasana 2 position. Take a breath here and then exhale. Shakti, and stepping back into down dog. And then looking to the hands and step or jump the feet forward, lengthening the front of the spine. Exhale, folding forward. Bend the knees. Toes are touching, heels are a little bit apart. Reach the arms around in front, coming into Utkatasana. You want to feel the abdomen drawing back to the spine, shoulders and wrists in line. Make sure you're lengthening the tailbone down rather than sticking it out or tucking it under too much. And just feel those thighs engaging. And then inhale, stand upright. And exhale, lower the arms. And then step the feet slightly apart. And step your left leg back so that your hips are like headlights facing directly forwards. And we're going to interlace the fingers and just open through the chest. And then soften the front knee and fold the belly over the front thigh. And then inhale, bring yourself upright. Flip the feet around. Again, just adjust that front foot a little bit so that you've got that imaginary line down the center of the mat. Left foot's on one side, right foot's on the other. Open the chest, take a breath in, and exhale. Anchoring that back foot down, drawing that front thigh back slightly, trying to keep the hips level. You can soften the front knee and relax your belly over your thigh, letting your hands reach over your head, feeling that stretch through the shoulders. And then on your next inhalation, coming back up again. And then turning both toes to face forwards. Just take a moment here, just relax. And you can, again, muster up that breath of Shiva on the inhalation and Shakti on the exhalation. All right, turning the front foot open, turning the back foot in slightly. We're going to come into Trikonasana. Rolling the front thigh out, rolling the back hip in, sending the buttocks back towards the back of the space. Bringing the hand to the ankle or having the upper hand on the inside of the shin. And then lengthening through the spine, rotating the chest open. And at the last moment, you can raise the arm and you can keep the back of the neck long. And just breathing here. And then inhale, coming up, rotating that foot around, turning so that that back hip is slightly rotated in. Back heel has a lot of energy. We're spreading the toes, rolling that front thigh open, lengthening both sides, bringing the hand to the ankle or having the palm facing open. So the difference between having your hand on your ankle or having your palm facing open is that you've got to use your legs a lot more to have that palm facing open. And it's easier to sort of, hang on to the ankle or the shin or wherever and kind of grip there. So it just depends on how you want to work today. So lengthening the spine, rotating the chest, and then raising the arm. And then try and have the neck lengthened. And just breathing here, spreading the toes. And then bringing yourself upright. All right. And then again, bringing both toes forward, just releasing the arms. Coming back to that Ujjayi breath, Shiva on the inhalation and Shakti on the exhalation. All right, and then slowly just bring your feet together. So no, we are not going into a forward fold like we normally do. Having the toes touching, having the heels slightly apart. We're We're going to step the left foot forward of the right foot, and we're just going to raise the arms. Shiva, Shakti. And then point the left toe and lift the leg as high as it'll go. And just hold here. You'll feel your thigh engaging. And then bend the knee. Take hold of the ankle and see if you can place that foot right up to where the top of the thigh and the groin meet, and having the feet level. If this is challenging, then a variation would be point the toe, lift the leg, and then bring that foot right to the inside of the shin. Yeah, so you choose. And then bring the palms to touch, and then balancing here. So whether you've got your foot up high or low, or whether you're using something to help you balance, or even have the ball of the foot on the floor. All right, and then bring both toes to touch, and then step the right foot forward of the left foot, so it's like you're on a balance beam. And then again, raising the arms, Shiva. Lowering the arms, Shakti. And then pointing the toe and lifting the leg, feeling the thigh muscle engaging. And then bending the knee, taking hold of the ankle, and bringing that foot to the inside seam, having the hips level, or having that foot nice and low to where it's comfortable. Just gazing at a point. You can keep that Ujjayi breath going. And then slowly lower. Toes are touching, heels are a little bit apart. Let's close the eyes. And keep feeling that sensation of energy flowing up the back of the spine and down the front of the spine. So the practice can be really, really subtle today. All right, and then coming to the front of the mat, we're going to sit low into Utkatasana, and then we're going to fold forward, step the left leg back, drop onto the left knee, bring the body upright, raise the left arm, hook the upper left arm across the outer right thigh, bring the palms to touch, and just gently turn the torso to the right, and just take some breaths here. Bring hands either side of the front foot. Shift your weight into your hands and extend that right leg back behind you, bending the knee, and just holding here. As much as you can, dropping that right knee down. Feeling how it engages the hamstring, the calf muscle, and the abdominals work here as well. And then extend the leg and lower, stepping the left foot forwards, bringing the body upright, raising the right arm, hooking the upper right arm against the outer left thigh, bringing the palms to touch and rotating the torso. Breathing. And then hands either side of the front foot. And let's extend that other leg back, dropping the left knee, just holding here. Extending the leg, lowering the knee, and then just gently lowering yourself to the floor. Turn your head to the side, take a moment. Let your buttocks go, let your belly just completely surrender to the floor. And feel like the breath is moving from the toes all the way up to the crown of the head on the inhalation. Use the Ujjayi here. And And then as you exhale, feel how the breath softens the whole front of the body. And just do this for a few rounds. So stay on your belly and breathing across the back of the body, Shiva, and then down the front of the body, Shakti. Just do that a few times, really surrendering to it. Alright, so let's come up onto our forearms. We'll come into Sphinx pose to start off with. Elbows a little bit out in front and a little bit out to the side, spreading the fingers. Engage your lower abdominals. Open the chest, breathing in. Breathing out. Back of the neck long. And then you're going to straighten your left arm, keeping your right arm bent, and just notice how that changes the dynamic of the stretch slightly. And then lower that elbow, and then lifting, straightening the other arm, and lowering the elbow. I'm going to do that again. Inhale, and lowering, and exhale. And then bend the left knee, bend the right knee. And then if it feels safe for you on your lower back, you're just going to slowly straighten your arms. If it doesn't, don't worry, just keep the knees bent and just keep opening through the chest. And then release. You can take hold of your ankles, drop your forehead, and then inhale, just lift into our Dhanirasana position, just opening through the shoulders, stretching through the front of the thighs, back of the neck long. And release. Draw the buttocks towards you. Sorry, draw the heels towards your buttocks. You can't really draw the buttocks towards you. And just gently roll over onto your back. So just keeping it really easy. So we're going to, before we go into our next pose, just have a sense of energy flowing up the back of the body as you inhale, and down the front of the body as you exhale. And just do that a few times, just to feel everything releasing from those back bends. And then bending the knees, having the feet just a little bit out from your knees, so not directly under your knees. Have your hands alongside your body, tuck your tailbone under, and lift your pelvis. And then just breathe. Keep your chin slightly away from your chest. And then lower the buttocks back down, and then draw the knees into the chest, and just cross at the ankles and hug the shins right in. And then draw the knees wide, lift the heels, See if you can reach the outsides of your feet as you draw the knees towards the armpits, coming into that happy baby pose. Lengthening the tailbone down. Really working with that mantra if it still feels appropriate for you. And then let's bring the soles of the feet together and hold on to the outsides of the feet, drawing the heels close in. Lift your head, your shoulders, and your upper chest. Just balancing here. And then again, relax, draw the thighs in. And then if it feels okay to rock up to sitting, rock up to sitting. Otherwise you can roll to the side and bring yourself up. But if it's okay to rock yourself back up to sitting. So we're going to come into Artamasyandrasana now. And just bearing in mind that if it's not comfortable for you to sit like this, you can also use a block, or you can keep your bottom leg straight. So, that's really up to you. So with the block, you would sit up on the block, you would fold in your left foot and cross your right leg over the top. And then just sit tall. If you're not using a block, you're sitting just naturally on your buttocks, and your left heel is beside your right buttock, and your right foot is flat on the floor. And let's just start with the arms out to the side, just upright before we twist. Just keep the back of the neck long. Just take a moment here to settle in. Feel your hips settling in, the outer hips settling in. And then raise your left arm nice and tall. Feel the stretch through the whole left side of your body. Rotate your torso around. So really feel like you can take your right fingertips to the floor behind you and press into those fingertips so you get a lot of space here. And then hook that upper arm against the thigh and turn yourself around. Keep anchoring the foot, your right foot, into the floor. Feel like you're twisting around the central axis of your spine. You can have your fingers wide or bring your fingers together. And see if you can feel the twist happening on the inhalation. And then the exhalation. All right, and then just release and hold the front of your shin with your upper arm, and just let the pose be a little bit more passive. And then coming around to the front and crossing the right thigh over the left thigh. Bringing the hands to rest on the feet. Obviously, if you need to, you can stay up on your block, or you can even do this in a reclining position as reclining Gomukhasana. If you can be upright, that's great. And so going into that pose that we just went into, Matsyendra, I'm reminded of this beautiful story of how Shiva and Parvati were lovers, and Parvati asked Shiva to tell her the secret of yoga. And he because he was, an ascetic, and he didn't want anyone to really know, she said, look, I'll create this underwater world for us, and if you come down there and you share the secret of yoga, then I can be a better disciple, And so they go down into this underwater world, and he starts to give her all the teachings of yoga, And she is so tired of listening to him that is so lulled by the ocean that she falls asleep. And at some point he says, at some point there's a fish that comes by, and inside the fish is a person. And so as Shiva's telling the story to Parvati, the fish is listening to the story. And so when Parvati falls asleep, Shiva says, "Hey, are you listening?" And the person inside the fish says, "Yes, I'm listening." And it turns out that knowing that this became Shiva's first disciple, who was Goraknath. And so eventually the fish fell away, and Goraknath became the first storyteller of, that was Matsyendra. So Matsyendra became the first disciple of Shiva, and then Matsyendra told his story to Goraknath, which is another story, and then Goraknath wrote the Gorakapada, which is kind of the beginning of Hatha Yoga. So there's a lot of significance to being in that pose. All right, so let's extend our legs and we'll go to the other side, crossing over. Again, sitting up on something if you need to, if that feels like it's easier for you, because sometimes the outer hips can be really tight. And then we'll take our left hand behind. Well, first of all, we'll just stop here. Just relaxing and feeling the body. Coming back to our Shiva, Shakti. And then bringing the left fingertips behind and then raising the right arm up and really reaching as tall as you can, and then hooking that upper arm against the outer thigh, and then coming into the twist. Feeling like you're inhaling on the twist and releasing on the exhalation. You can squeeze the legs together and engage the abdominals as well. And then you can wrap your forearm around the front of your shin. And then let's come back around and crossing the left thigh over the right. You can do this lying down or sitting up, having your hands. We'll just close the eyes and we'll just be silent in the pose, continuing to focus on that internal mantra. Shiva, Shakti, Shiva, Shakti, Shiva, Shakti, and then from here again, just releasing, and we're going to come into Paschimottanasana now. So just extending the legs forward, starting in Dhanirasana, spreading the toes. Just feel your spine long. Again, if you feel like you need something to keep you on the center of your sitting bones, you can use a towel or a blanket or whatever props you have, just so that you can rock yourself a little bit more forward and have the hips and the shoulders in line. And then we're going to start by having our fingertips behind us and just folding forward from the hip crease. Now you might want to bend your knees a little bit here, especially if you know that you've got those tight hamstrings. And just get to that point where you feel your belly connecting to your thigh. You can hold on to the front of your feet and just let your head release. And coming back into that breath, so Shiva along the back and Shakti forwards. And then slowly coming up. And then we're going to come back into a comfortable cross-legged seat. And we're going to come back into that Ujjayi breath. We're going to close the way we started. Breathing Shiva up the back of the spine and Shakti down the back, the front of the spine. Using the Ujjayi. So just as you settle here, just notice how you feel in your body. Keeping the practice so subtle and simple today. Shiva as you breathe in and Shakti as you breathe out. Keeping that breath, even if that feels doable to you, as you breathe in. And breathing out. Breathing in. And breathing out. Just completing your next exhalation. Just bring your awareness to your heart. And visualize there two intersecting triangles. One triangle is pointing upwards, and one triangle is pointing downwards. And the color is powdery blue, so it's a six-pointed star in the center of your heart. See if you can imagine that sitting in the center of the heart, in the center of this triangle, is a snow white deer. The deer is your gentle strength, that compassionate heart, that innocence, that childlike innocence. And see if you can feel the pulse and the breath right in the center of the heart. You might even notice it as the breath of this beautiful deer. And this is Shiva Shakti, moving simultaneously, intertwined, always one without a second. Letting that Shiva and Shakti merge into Om. One sound, one word, describing the absolute, the totality. Shiva Shakti Om. Shiva Shakti Om. Shiva Shakti Om. And then bring one hand on top of the other on your heart. And just make some small clockwise circles and then slide your hands all the way down to your navel and to your pubic line and across your thighs and over your knees. And let's lie ourselves back for relaxation, for Shavasana. So really let everything go. Let go of the breath. Let go of the mantra. Let go of the practice. And just notice how being here is absolutely effortless. There's nothing you need to do or undo. Just feel your effortless presence right here and now. Shiva Shakti Om. Shiva Shakti Om. Shakti 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 Om. Shiva Shakti Om. Shiva Shakti Om. Shakti 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 Om. Shiva Shakti Om. Shiva Shakti Om. Shakti 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 Om. Shiva Shakti Om. Shiva Shakti Om. Shakti 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 Om. Shakti 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 Om. So slowly bring your awareness back to your body by gently moving your fingers and your toes. You might like to take a big stretch, stretching out your arms and your legs. And then just gently roll to one side. And bring yourself back upright. And just placing the hands on the heart, just taking another moment. So this subtle energy, this inhale, this exhale, moving through you, breath breathing you. The Absolute is moving through you. The infinite is in the finite, and the finite is in the infinite. And this is the beautiful message of Shiva and Shakti. There is not one moment where you are not existing as the divine. So namaste, and have a super wonderful rest of your day.